Yesterday I explained various important basic concepts in economics, which we will come across many times when we study or go through the various economic issues. In due course of time, for competitive examinations. Well, while preparing highest examinations like civil services, group 1 examinations, you should try to know and understand each and every concept very clearly, assuming that we know nothing. It is true, we may be knowing many things, but it is very important to learn each and every concepts in all subjects, which will be very useful for competitive examinations. And also, everyone should try to develop optimistic attitude. That means positive attitude should be developed rather than pessimistic attitude. You should not develop negative attitude. So this is also very important for various competitive examinations like civil services and group 1 examination. Today we shall see economic development before independence and various issues relating to the Indian economy, because in the syllabus there are specific issues, economic issues relating to the Indian economy. Let us see economic development before independence in India. Here, before independence, India was under the British rule for more than 200 years. Before independence, India was developed by British economy, not for the development of Indian economy. It was developed, Indian economy was developed only for the benefit of the British economy. How was the Indian economy before independence? Indian economy, it was a colonial economy. Colonial. Indian economy was developed and treated before independence as a colonial economy. What does it mean? Colonial economy means the economy which was under the British rule and used for the supply of raw materials to the foreign country, that is British, and used as a market for the foreign goods. That means the goods which were produced in Britain. In that way, there are two important things regarding colonial economy. First important thing was various raw materials was supplied by India to the British. It was mainly used as the supplier of raw materials. And secondly, Indian economy was a main market for British goods. For these two purposes, Indian economy was developed and used by the British government before independence. British government did not take any initiative to develop Indian economy, like developing various industries, increasing production productivity in agriculture, and other economic developments. So this was the nature of Indian economy before independence. Now, the rate of economic development before independence was very low. That means the production and productivity in agriculture was very low. Major industries and key and basic industries were not developed in India. Of course, there are some few industries which were developed in India. Those are not basic and key industries, only consumer-based industries. And also, foreign trade was developed. Before independence, various raw materials were exported. There was an export surplus in India before independence. The export surplus was not used in India for the development of Indian economy. So in that way, the nature of Indian economy was there in India before independence. What are the nature of Indian economy? It was only a colonial economy. Now let us see what are the important aspects of Indian economy before independence. Take agriculture. In India before independence, agriculture was the main occupation for the Indian people. Around 80% to 85% of the people are depending on agriculture for their livelihood, because there were no industries, no other non-agricultural activities to provide employment opportunities to the Indian people. So they are dependent on agriculture for their livelihood. But agriculture, the British government did not take any initiative to increase production and productivity in agriculture. Of course, the various British government took some agricultural activities like construction of projects, mainly in 1850. British government constructed a project over the Godavari River in Rajahmundry near Dhauleswaram. Who was the person responsible for construction of this barrage? Sir Arthur Cotton. Arthur Cotton, you should know the name of the person, was responsible before independence for the development of irrigation, for the construction of irrigation project or barrage on the Godavari River in Dhauleswaram in 1850. So, for what purpose the British government took initiative for this activity, for this development? The main intention was not to develop agriculture in India. The main intention was not to increase productivity in agriculture in India. What was the motive behind? The colonial motive was there behind the construction of a project in Rajahmundry. Because before independence, the main source of income came from land revenue to the British government. It is to get more revenue. The land revenue was the main source. So before independence, there were various frequent floods, drought, took place. So many farmers failed to pay the land revenue which was to be paid to the British government. So the revenue was very low. So in that situation, British government suggested to construct this barrage over the river on the recommendation of Siddhartha. And also various activities were taken in view of promoting their imperial motive, colonial motive only, not for the development of Indian economy. Here, regarding agriculture, we have to see here, as I told, the main source of land revenue, the main source of revenue to the British government was land revenue. In order to get more and more income through land revenue, British government introduced 3 land revenue systems before independence in India. Here you should know what are the 3 land revenue systems. The first land revenue system is Zamindari system. Second land revenue, Raitwari system. Third one was Mahalwari system. These were the 3 land revenue settlements and land revenue systems which were introduced in India before independence in different places, in different areas. These were not introduced in all places. In some places or some provinces, Zamindari system was introduced. In some places, Raitwari system was introduced. In some places, Mahalwari system was introduced. The main motive behind introduction of these 3 systems was to get more and more income, revenue through land revenue collection. Now let us see one by one. Let us see Zamindari system. So here the Zamindari system was introduced during the time of Lord Cornwallis. The person was responsible for the introduction of Zamindari system was Lord Cornwallis. No, Lord Cornwallis was the then Governor General before independence. Before independence, India was ruled by the lords called Governor Generals who acted as a representative of the British Crown, King or Queen. So the Lord Cornwallis suggested to introduce Zamindari system in those places where Zamindars were in large number. The places where Zamindars were there in more number, in those places Zamindar system was introduced. For example, Bengal, Bihar, in some parts of Andhra Pradesh. You know, before independence, there were Zamindars in Andhra Pradesh also. So in Andhra Pradesh also, in all places, Zamindar system was not introduced. In India also, in all states, Zamindar system was not introduced. Those places where Zamindars are in more number, in those places Zamindar system was introduced. So here you have to mainly remember, mainly in Bengal, Bihar, Jamindar system was introduced on large scale. So what was the system? The Jamindar system under which there was no direct relationship between farmers and the British government in the payment of land revenue. That means the farmers who cultivated the land did not pay directly to the British government. There were middlemen between farmers and British government. Under the Jamindar system, there was no direct relationship between farmers and British government. There were middlemen between farmers and the government. The middlemen were called Jamindars, Inamidars. The Jamindars collected land revenue directly from the farmers at a very high rate, and they in turn paid to the British government. So the land revenue system under which farmers did not pay directly land revenue to the British government was known as Jamindar system. So this Jamindar system was not useful, not beneficial to the farmers, because the Jamindars and middlemen collected the high rate of land revenue. When the farmers failed to pay land revenue in time, their lands were taken away by the Jamindars. Many farmers became landless farmers because of the Jamindar system, due to the unlawful activities of the Jamindars, Haryanadas. So this was the Jamindar system should know. Regarding Jamindar system, should know who are the person responsible. The places where mainly Jamindar system was introduced, and what was the Jamindar system. So these are the three things you should know about the Jamindar system. Likewise, Raitwari system. Raitwari system was introduced in those places where Jamindars were not there. The person who was responsible for the introduction of Jamindar system was Thomas Munro. Thomas Munro, he was the famous British economist who recommended to introduce the Raitwari system in those places where Jamindars were not there to collect a land revenue. So, what was the Raitwari system? The Raitwari system is like that, what we are following there today. So, under the system, there was a direct relation between farmers and British government. The farmers who cultivated the land paid directly to the British government. There were no middlemen. However, the land revenue that was collected from the farmers under the system was very high. And also, British government collected land revenue forcefully from the farmers at the time of failure of crops, at the time of drought, and so on. So this system was also not useful, not beneficial to the farmers. And finally, third system, land revenue system, was Bahalwari system. Yeah, this system, what was this system? Before saying, regarding Raitwari system, you should know what are the main places in which Raitwari system was introduced. Madras, Orissa, in some parts of Andhra Pradesh. Like that, in other places where jamiandars were not there. Now coming to the Malwar system. Malwar system was introduced mainly in Agra, Punjab, Oudh. Malwar system was introduced before independence in India in some places where Agra, Oudh, Punjab. What was the system? Under the system, the land revenue was collected collectively by a society in a village, and they paid the total revenue which was to be paid by village to the British government collectively. So the system under which land revenue was paid to the British government collectively by all the farmers in a village is called Mahalwari system. So these were the three systems, land revenue systems, which were introduced in India before independence, mainly to bring about more and more revenue to the British government, not to develop the agriculture sector, not to improve the economic status of the Indian people or against laborers, against farmers in India. So these are the three systems you have to know mainly regarding land revenue systems and agriculture in India. On the whole, agriculture was not developed before independence. That means the production and productivity in agriculture was very low because of lack of irrigation and other incentives or other facilities to the farmers. Now coming to the industrial sector, industry. Before independence, there was no industrialization because British government did not take the initiative to develop key and basic industries, other major industries. Of course, there were some industries which were developed and established by Indians and some other people in India. There are some, what are the important industries that were existed in India before independence? Take in the cotton textile industry. The cotton textile industry first cotton textile industry was established in 1854 in Bombay. Then first jute mill established in India in 1855 near Hooghly in Calcutta. And other important industry, major industry which was developed in India before independence was Tisco. TISCO, Tata Iron Steel Industry, the company. Tata Iron Steel Industry, which was very famous, large-scale industry before independence, which was established by the famous industry Tata on the private sector in 1907. The first iron and steel industry, which was established before independence on the private sector in 1907 by Tata. Then he was then famous industrialist. So this was called TISCO. Where was located in this industry? Jamshedpur, Bihar was established. This Tata Iron Steel was established in Jamshedpur, Bihar by Tata. So these were the only major industries which were established in India. Of course, there are some paper industry, metal industries, small scale industries were there. They were not well developed. Indians used to develop these industries without any facilities. However, the productivity in industrial sector was also low, and the development of capital goods industries was not developed. There was no capital goods industry before independence. What do you understand by capital goods industry? So this was the basic industry. This is the basic industry which produce machinery and tools, which were very important for the development of other industries. So capital goods industries were not developed in India before independence because of the colonial rule, because of the colonial policies followed by the British government before independence. So on the whole, in the case of industrial sector also, the productivity, the production and productivity was very low. Major and small scale key and basic industries, capital goods industries were developed. Even though there were some industry, few industries, British government did not take any initiative, did not help in any way to develop these industries in India before independence because of the colonial policies. So this was the state of industrial economy, industrial sector before independence in India. Then what about other important economic issues you should know before independence from the examination point of view? Yeah, before independence, national income was also very low. Per capita income, national income was very low. However, British government did not calculate, did not estimate national income in India before independence. But there are some Indians, mainly Dadabhai Nauroji, V.K. R.V. Rao, Siraj, R.C. Desai, these are the famous Indian economists before independence who calculated, who estimated national income in India. The first person who calculated national income in India was Dadabhai Nauroji, and also explain how resources in India were exploited and mainly Indian resources were drained off to England. So he propounded one theory called drain theory. You should remember drain theory. Drain theory was developed by or explained by Dadabhai Naoroji, was a famous Indian economist and also nationalist leader, one of the important nationalist leader, Dadabhai Naoroji. He explained the drain theory. In this theory, he explained how the Indian resources were exported or drained off to England. In this drain theory, Indian resources were used or drained off to England mainly in the form of work charges. Work charges. This was a concept coined by the Dadabhai Naoroji. The surplus resources, the export surplus, which was there in India before independence, was not used to develop the Indian economy. The export surplus was used for the payment of salaries to the British employees, army personnel, for the retired British persons as a pension. These are called work charges. What are work charges? Payment of salaries to the British employees working in India, payment of salaries to the army personnel, payment of pension to the retired British personnel only. In this way, export surplus, Indian resources were drained off England in the form of work charges. So this is a very important concept. You should know, should remember, should know about Dadabhai Naoroji. What was the contribution of Dadabhai Naoroji before independence with regard to the Indian economy? Mainly, you should remember, he estimated the national income, he propounded the drain theory, and he explained how the resources, Indian resources, were drained up to England through work charges. So another important person is V.K.R. Rao. V.K.R. Rao was also important to Indian economist who estimate national income. The estimation of national income of V.K.R. Rao was very important comparing to the other persons. Like that, Siddhartha and R.C. Desai were also there, but from the examination point of view, you should know about Dadabhai Naoroji and V.K.R. Rao. Was the important person who estimated, who calculated national income in India before independence. Then you should write, you should know the name of the person called V.K.R. Rao. Because the estimation of national income by V.K.R. Rao was very important. Regarding Dadabhai Naoroji, you should know about drain theory and work charges. So this is about national income and drain theory in India before independence. On the whole, before independence, in all sectors, production and productivity was very low. British government introduced various colonial economic policies in different places in view of promoting their motive, that is colonial motive, not for the development of Indian economy. So this was the state of Indian economy before independence. After independence, we started developing Indian economy through 5 years plans. You know, we got independence 1947. Then Prime Minister of India was Sri Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So he put forward the concept of socialistic pattern of society, and he wanted to develop the Indian economy through planned economy. So planned economy was started after independence in 1951. That means first 5-year plan began in India in 1951. Prior to the implementation of the 5-year plan, Government of India appointed Planning Commission in 1950 under the chairmanship of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. This Planning Commission formulated first 5-year plan and implemented in 1951. So we shall see tomorrow in the next class about 5 years plans and other important economic issues. I hope you try to understand what I have explained, various economic issues before independence, so that they will be more useful for the examination. Thank you very much. Hi, good morning to all of you. Yesterday I explained various important basic concepts in economics, which we will come across many times when we study or go through the various economic issues. In due course of time, for competitive examinations. Well, while preparing IAS examinations like civil services, group 1 examinations, you should try to know and understand each and every concept very clearly, assuming that we know nothing. It is true, we may be knowing many things, but it is very important to learn each and every concepts in all subjects, which will be very useful for competitive examinations. And also, everyone should try to develop optimistic attitude. That means positive attitude should be developed rather than pessimistic attitude. You should not develop negative attitude. So this is also very important for various competitive examinations like civil services and group 1 examination. Today we shall see economic development before independence and various issues relating to the Indian economy, because in the syllabus there are specific issues, economic issues relating to Indian economy. Let us see economic development before independence in India. Here, before independence, India was under the British rule for more than 200 years. Before independence, India was developed by British economy, not for the development of Indian economy. It was developed, Indian economy was developed only for the benefit of the British economy. How was the Indian economy before independence? Indian economy, it was a colonial economy. Colonial. Indian economy was developed and treated before independence as a colonial economy. What does it mean? Colonial economy means the economy which was under the British rule and used for the supply of raw materials to the foreign country, that is British, and used as a market for the foreign goods. That means the goods which were produced in Britain. In that way, there are two important things regarding colonial economy. First important thing was various raw materials was supplied by India to the British. It was mainly used as the supplier of raw materials. And secondly, Indian economy was a main market for British goods. For these two purposes, Indian economy was developed and used by the British government before independence. British government did not take any initiative to develop Indian economy, like developing various industries, increasing productivity in agriculture and other economic developments. So this was the nature of Indian economy before independence. Now, the rate of economic development before independence was very low. That means the production and productivity in agriculture was very low. Major industries and key and basic industries were not developed in India. Of course, there are some few industries which were developed in India. Those are not basic and key industries, only consumer-based industries. And also, foreign trade was not developed. Before independence, various raw materials were exported. There was an export surplus in India before independence. The export surplus was not used in India for the development of Indian economy. So in that way, the nature of Indian economy was there in India before independence. What are the nature of Indian economy? It was only a colonial economy. Now let us see what are the important aspects of Indian economy before independence. take agriculture. In India before independence, agriculture was the main occupation for the Indian people. Around 80%, 85% of the people are depending on agriculture for their livelihood, because there were no industries, no other non-agricultural activities to provide employment opportunities to the Indian people. So they have to depend on agriculture for their livelihood. But agriculture, the British government did not take any initiative to increase production and productivity in agriculture. Of course, various British government took some agricultural activities like construction of projects, mainly in 1850. British government constructed a project over the Godavari river in Rajahmundry near Dhauleswara. Who was the person responsible for construction of this barrage? Sir Arthur Cotton. Sir Arthur Cotton. You should know the name of the person was responsible before independence for the development of irrigation, for the construction of irrigation project or barrage on the Godavari river in Dhauleswara in 1850. So, for what purpose the British government took initiative for this activity, for this development? The main intention was not to develop the agriculture in India. The main intention was not to increase productivity in agriculture in India. What was the motive behind? The colonial motive was there behind the construction of a project in Rajahmundry. Because before independence, the main source of income came through land revenue to the British government. It is to get more revenue. The land revenue was the main source. So before independence, there were various frequent floods, drought took place. So many farmers failed to pay the land revenue which was to be paid to the British government. So the revenue was very low. So in that situation, British government suggested to construct this barrage over the river on the recommendation of Sir Arthur Cotton. And also, various activities were taken in view of promoting their imperial motive, colonial motive only, not for the development of Indian economy. Here, regarding agriculture, we have to see here, as I told, the main source of land revenue, the main source of revenue to the British government was land revenue. In order to get more and more income through land revenue, British government introduced 3 land revenue systems before independence in India. Here you should know what are the 3 land revenue systems. The first land revenue system is Zamindari system. Second land revenue, Raituwari system. Third one was Mahalwari system. These were the three land revenue settlements and land revenue systems which were introduced in India before independence in different places, in different areas. These were not introduced in all places. In some places or some provinces, Jamindari system was introduced. In some places, Raitwari system was introduced. In some places, Malwari system was introduced. The main motive behind introduction of these three systems was to get more and more income, revenue through land revenue collection. Now let us see one by one. Let us see Jamindari system. So here the Jamindari system was introduced during the time of Lord Cornwallis. The person was responsible for the introduction of Jamindari system was Lord Cornwallis. No, Lord Cornwallis was the then Governor General before independence. Before independence, India was ruled by the lords called Governor Generals who acted as a representative of the British crown, king or queen. So the Lord Cornwallis suggested to introduce Jamindari system in those places where Jamindars were in large number. The places where Jamindars were there more in more number, in those places Jamindar system was introduced. For example, Bengal, Bihar, in some parts of Andhra Pradesh. Before independence, there were Jamindars in Andhra Pradesh also. In Andhra Pradesh also, in all places, Jamindar system was not introduced. In India also, in all states, Jamindar system was not introduced. Those places where Jamindars are in more number, in those places Jamindar system was introduced. So here you have to mainly remember, mainly in Bengal, Bihar, Jamindar system was introduced on large scale. So what was the system? The Jamindar system under which there was no direct relationship between farmers and the British government in the payment of land revenue. That means the farmers who cultivated the land did not pay directly to the British government. There were middlemen between farmers and British government. Under the Jamindar system, there was no direct relationship between farmers and British government. There were middlemen between farmers and the government. The middlemen were called Jamindars, Inamidars. The Jamindars collected land revenue directly from the farmers at a very high rate, and they in turn paid to the British government. So the land revenue system under which farmers did not pay directly land revenue to the British government was known as Jamindari system. So this Jamindari system was not useful, not beneficial to the farmers, because the Jamindars and middlemen collected a high rate of land revenue. When the farmers failed to pay land revenue in time, their lands were taken away by the Zamindars. Many farmers became landless farmers because of the Zamindar system due to the unlawful activities of the Zamindars, Haryanagidas. So this was the Zamindar system should know. Regarding Zamindar system, should know who are the person responsible. The places where mainly Zamindar system was introduced, and what was the Zamindar system. So these are the three things you should know about the Zamindar system. Likewise, Raitwari system. Raitwari system was introduced in those places where Zamindars were not there. The person who was responsible for the introduction of Zamindar system was Thomas Munro. Thomas Munro, he was a famous British economist who recommended to introduce the Raitwari system in those places where Zamindars were not there to collect a land revenue. So, what was the Raitwari system? The Raitwari system is like that, what we are following there today. So, under the system, there was a direct relation between farmers and British government. The farmers who cultivate the land paid directly to the British government. There were no middlemen. However, the land revenue that was collected from the farmers under the system was very high. And also, British government collected land revenue forcefully from the farmers at the time of failure of crops, at the time of drought, and that's also. So this system was also not useful, not beneficial to the farmers. And finally, third system, land revenue system was Mahalwari system. Here this system, what was this system? Before saying, regarding Raitwari system, you should know what are the main places in which a Raitwari system was introduced. Madras, Orissa, in some parts of Andhra Pradesh. Like that, in other places where Zamindars were not there. Now coming to the Mahalwari system. Mahalwari system was introduced mainly in Agra, Punjab, out. Mahalwari system was introduced before independence in India in some places where Agra or Punjab. What was the system? Under the system, the land revenue was collected collectively by a society in a village, and they paid the total revenue which was to be paid by village to the British government collectively. So the system under which land revenue was paid to the British government collectively by all the farmers in a village is called Mahalwari system. So these were the three systems, land revenue systems, which were introduced in India before independence, mainly to bring about more and more revenue to the British government, not to develop the agriculture sector, not to increase the not to improve the economic status of the Indian people or agricultural laborers and just farmers in India. So these are the three systems you have to know mainly regarding land revenue systems and agriculture in India. On the whole, agriculture was not developed before independence. That means the production and productivity in agriculture was very low because of lack of irrigation and other incentives or other facilities to the farmers. Now coming to the industrial sector, industry. Before independence, there was no industrialization because British government did not take initiative to develop key and basic industries, other basic industries. Of course, there were some industries which were developed and established by Indians and some other people in India. There are some, what are the important industries that were existed in India before independence? Take in the cotton textile industry. The cotton textile industry first cotton textile industry was established in 1854 in Bombay. Then first jute mill established in India in 1855 near Hooghly in Calcutta. And other important industry, major industry which was developed in India before independence was Tisco. You know Tisco? Tata Iron and Steel Industry, the company. Tata Iron and Steel Industry, which was very famous large scale industry before independence, which was established by the famous industry Tata on the private sector in 1907. The first iron and steel industry, which was established before independence on the private sector in 1907 by Tata. Then he was then famous industrialist. So this was called Tisco. Where was located in this industry? Jamshedpur, Bihar was established. This Tata Iron Steel was established in Jamshedpur, Bihar by Tata. So these were the only major industries which were established in India. Of course, there are some paper industry, metal industries, small scale industries were there. They were not well developed. Indians used to develop these industries without any facilities. However, the productivity in industrial sector was also low. And the development of capital goods industries was not developed. There was no capital goods industry before independence. What do you understand by capital goods industry? So this was the basic industry. This is the basic industry which produce machinery and tools, which were very important for the development of other industries. So capital goods industries were not developed in India before independence because of the colonial rule, because of the colonial policies followed by the British government before independence. So on the whole, in the case of industry sector also, the productivity, the production and productivity was very low. Major and small scale key and basic industries, capital goods industries were developed. Even though there were some few industries, British government did not take any initiative, did not help in any way to develop these industries in India before independence because of the colonial policies. So this was the state of industrial economy, industrial sector before independence in India. Then what about other important economic issues you should know before independence from the examination point of view? Here, before independence, national income was also very low. Per capita income, national income was very low. However, British government did not calculate, did not estimate national income in India before independence. But there are some Indians, mainly Dadabhai Nauroji, V.K. R.V. Rao, Siraj, R.C. Desai, these are the famous Indian economists before independence who calculated, who estimated national income in India. The first person who calculated national income in India was Dadabhai Nauroji, and also he explained how resources in India were exploited and mainly Indian resources were drained off to England. So he propounded one theory called drain theory. You should remember drain theory. Drain theory was developed by, explained by Dadabhai Nauroji, was a famous Indian economist and also nationalist leader, one of the important nationalist leader, Dadabhai Nauroji. He explained the drain theory. In this theory, he explained how the Indian resources were exported and drained off to England. In this drain theory, Indian resources were used or drained off to England mainly in the form of work charges. Work charges. This was a concept coined by the Dadabhai Nauroji. The surplus resources, the export surplus, which was there in India before independence, was not used to develop the Indian economy. The export surplus was used for the payment of salaries to the British employees, army personnel, for the retired British persons as a pension. These are called home charges. What are home charges? Payment of salaries to the British employees working in India, payment of salaries to the army personnel, payment of pension to the retired British personnel only. In this way, export surplus, Indian resources were drained off England in the form of home charges. So this is a very important concept. You should know, should remember, you should know about Dada University. What was the contribution of Dada University before independence with regard to the Indian economy? Mainly you should remember, he estimated the national income, he propounded the drain theory, and he explained how the resources, Indian resources were drained up to England through home charges. So another important person is V.K.R. Rao. V.K.R. Rao was also important to Indian economist who estimated national income. The estimation of national income of V.K.R. Rao was very important comparing to the other persons. Like that, Siddhartha IAS Academy were also there, but from the examination point of view, you should know about Dada University and V.K.R. Rao. Was the important person who estimated, who calculated national income in India before independence. Then you should write, you should know the name of the person called V.K.R. Rao, because the estimation of national income by V.K.R. Rao was very important. Regarding Dada University, you should know about drain theory and home charges. So this is about national income and drain theory in India before independence. On the whole, before independence, in all sectors, production and productivity was very low. British government introduced various colonial economic policies in different places in view of promoting their motive, that is colonial motive, not for the development of Indian economy. So this was the state of Indian economy before independence. After independence, we started developing Indian economy through 5-year plans. You know, we got independence 1947. Then Prime Minister of India was Sri Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So he put forward the concept of socialistic pattern of society, and he wanted to develop the Indian economy through planned economy. So planned economy was started after independence in 1951. That means first 5-year plan began in India in 1951. Prior to the implementation of the 5-year plan, Government of India appointed Planning Commission Planning Commission in 1950 under the chairmanship of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. This Planning Commission formulated first phase plan and implemented in 1951. So we shall see tomorrow in the next class about 5 years plans and other important economic issues. I hope you try to understand what I have explained, various economic issues before independence, so that they will be more visible for the examination. Thank you very much.